Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's Sarah here, and today I'm really excited to be part of Sabrina K Country Crafters No Buy November collaboration. So over the next 4 weeks, there are 30 people in the collaboration that will all be creating something each week, and the videos will go out on Saturdays. Now, the idea is that in the run-up to Christmas, for a lot of people, things can be a bit sort of difficult financially, trying to meet all the needs in that sort of busy period. So we're all going to be making each week's project using what we have in our stash. Sabrina has put all of us on a craft buying ban for the whole of the month of November. Now, I've got to say, when I signed up for it, I was sweating a little bit because I am a bit of a shopper and I do like to go out and buy lots of bits and bobs, but I decided it was something I really wanted to take part in, and I really probably could do with having a month of not spending quite so much on my crafting. So I've decided to give it a go, and Sabrina's let me very kindly be in on the collaboration. So this week we are making a card. Now, I've decided to go a bit non-traditional. I've decided to go for pastels, and at Christmas I normally go for the traditional reds and greens, but I'd got some papers that inspired me a little bit, which I've ended up not using for today, but I liked the colour scheme, and I liked the challenge that would give me, because like I say, it's something different for me. So I'm going to make an easel shaker card. Oh, okay. So to start with, I've taken just a square scalloped, this was a pre-cut card that was in my stash, obviously, because everything's in your stash. And what I've done is I've scored it about a third of the way down the card. I've then taken another one of the same cards and I've just trimmed it. I've cut it on the join there on my scoreboard. So I've got this sort of flat bottom. I've then lined that up on top of the card that I've scored, like that, because that's how it's going to sit when it's done. It's going to sit like this. And I've just trimmed the edge of those scallops off as well. Now, you won't see them. You won't see that sort of edge because it will be hidden under this part of the card. But I did want it all to sort of look neat and for it to sit properly. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably explain some of the bits that I'm going to do, pause, go away and do them, come back, because I don't want this video to be super long, because obviously there's lots and lots of lovely ladies in the collaboration, and I don't want, you know, I want everybody to have time to go and see everybody in the collaboration. So I'll do it in stages and do bits and come back. So for this first stage, I have cut a piece of this pretty pink gingham paper, which is going to go down as the bottom mat on the bottom there. And that I'm just going to ink around the edges of. And then I'm going to glue that down with just a little bit. I've got these 3 very, very, very tiny pom-pom trims. This came from Hobbycraft. I think it was £2 for the reel of 3 trims, and I bought it a little while ago for the red and the green with Christmas in mind, but actually for this project the whites will work really nicely. And what it'll do is when the card is complete and put up, it'll just sort of act as a stopper so that the card doesn't come any further forward and sort of end up falling over. So I'm going to go away and do those bits, and then I'm going to get the stuff together to do the shaker element. Okay, so that's the easel all put together, and as you can see, I've put the gingham paper on the bottom there with that lovely little bit of white pom-pom trim, and that just holds the easel. So that's what it looks like from the side. And on the back there, you've got somewhere that you can write your message, and it does fold flat so that you can actually pop this into an envelope. Now, it'll be quite bulky by the time I finish, because obviously I'm going to put a shaker on top of this and some embellishments, and so I will probably end up making an envelope for this once it's done. So that's the base done for now, so I'm just going to pop that to one side. And now I'm going to work on the shaker. So this is just a piece of patterned paper that's going to go on the bottom of my shaker like that. Now you can just see just a little tiny bit of this pattern on the side there, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm sure I can cover it up with some embellishments on this side, and I might even put glue some stars on or snowflakes or something on the inside of that there, and it makes good use of a piece of paper that I wouldn't otherwise have used, because it had got this this Merry Christmas, and it had got some sort of like polar bear thing there, which it was all right. It just didn't really do a lot for me, so I probably would never have got round to using that. So I am just going to put a little bit of blue. This is tumbled glass, just using a makeup brush, and I am just putting a little bit of it around sort of where the frame is gonna come in, just for a bit more depth in the background. So what I'll do is I'll keep trying it, get it the right way around, keep trying it up against to make sure that I'm hitting the spots that I want to hit, and once I've sort of got all that blended the way that I want, I'll be back. So the background's all done, and I have glued on a few stars, snowflakes. They are cut out of glitter paper, and the camera doesn't really pick it up very well, but they are really, really glittery, and they're really cute. So the other thing that I want to add into this, obviously it's a shaker card, so I do want something to shake. So I've got some of this white, it's like table scatter, but it's in the shape of little snowflakes. So I'm going to put a few of those in. I do apologise if there is noise in the background. It's raining, which for a start is a bit of a nightmare because I craft in the conservatory, so obviously it's noisy on the roof. But it's also nearly bonfire night here in the UK in England, so people are having firework displays. So there's all sorts of fireworks going off in the background as well. But this has got to be up by tomorrow, so I've just got to power on through. If it gets too noisy, I will just sort of stop and do a bit of a reveal at the end instead. So I've added in there my shaker mix, and then I've got this little lid to go on top. So this is just some more of that pretty pink gingham paper. And sorry for the glare, but I do need to just show you that there. That is some acetate. I think this is actually from the film from Overhead Film Projectors. I got some cheap on eBay. So that's going to go there. Now I cut this perfectly by using some temporary adhesive on the back of the pink. I'm putting it on this foam board, which is what I've actually made this frame out of. It's just made out of a piece of foam board, and I sort of die cut it all together as one piece, which worked brilliantly. But then when I was just finishing this bit off here, don't know if you can see, it did rip slightly, and I thought, oh no, I haven't got any more of this pink gingham paper. Can't go out and buy anything more. And I thought, no, do you know what? I'm going to make it work, because that's part of the No Buy November deal, isn't it? You've got to work with what you've got. And what I've got is a piece of paper that I ripped slightly. It's not the end of the world. I'm sure that I can make it so that we won't even see it by the time I've finished. So what I will do is I will glue this on, and then I'm going to gather together all the things that I need to embellish this, ready to be popped on top of the card. Okay, so as you can see from all the bits around, I have been around and had a scout about and found some bits that I'm going to use to embellish this card. For my focal piece, I'm going to use this ice skating boot that I've made. So I had already been looking through my stash for things that I could use during this collab, and I'd picked out some of my Christmas dies and started to put together a few Embellishments, and this was one of them, and I really like this. I think it's really cute, and I think it really goes with the theme, that sort of wintry theme. To try and cover this little mistake in the corner, I have also cut out this one, which again is just a die from my stash, and it's got the little ice skating boots and the snowflake burst up in the top there, and I thought actually, you know, pop that up on the top there, really beautiful. And you won't, you know, nobody will ever know I made that mistake as long as we keep it between ourselves. I've also cut some of this just because I thought if I put the ice boot in the middle there, it's a bit lost. It's a bit something and nothing. But I thought if I put it on top of, you know, some elements like this, with the ice skate in the middle there, it just makes it a bit more sort of special. And you'll still sort of see the snowflakes. You'll still get to hear the snowflakes, obviously, as they shake about. And, you know, that's half of the beauty of a shaker, is the sound that they make when you shake them up and down. So I'm just going to, if I can find the right sponge, ink around the edge of this little blue piece. And again, these are just from some dies that I have in my stash, and this is like a little layering set. So you get the frame bit there that I've cut out in the vellum, and then you can do all sorts of, you know, added bits to it. So I've cut out the big shape and then done the inlay bit as well, but then I haven't cut anything out of the circle to make it, because you can make it into just a frame. I've not done that. I've cut the middle piece out in a different colour, obviously in this blue, which is the same blue that we've got in the background there, but I'm going to leave this one quite light. Obviously I sort of went a little bit darker in the middle there. It's not quite as dark as it looks on the camera, but it is darker. And I don't want to go quite that dark for this bit. I want this bit to sort of stay quite light. So I am going to pop that piece in the centre there. And because, oops, I've knocked my camera, sorry. Because that is acetate on the window there, and I know for a fact that this one does react with heat, I'm not going to use some hot glue gun because I don't want to burn a hole through the lovely shaker that I've just made. So I'm just going to bend the sides on this up a little bit, just so that it's not completely flat. And I'm just going to place that where I want it on this acetate. And this is a bit of a, you know, one-time deal. Once it's down, it's down. So that's that. Then on the back of the little blue piece, I am going to just use a bit of my packaging, a bit of the cat food packaging, to just raise this bit up. And like I say, this is going to be a really, really dimensional card by the time I'm finished with it. But that's okay. It's me that's posting it, so I can live with that. I am going to put this one on with a bit of hot glue, but I am just going to let it cool just a fraction before I put it on. It is quite cold in here today, actually, so the glue is drying quite quickly. There we go. So that's that. Whoop. Shake my camera. That wasn't quite on straight, so try again, Sarah. Hopefully my glue had set before I actually put it down. I'm just going to do this under me so that I can actually line it up properly. It's quite hard to do when you can't get right over the top of it. That's better. Okay. And then I'm going to put my ice skate in the middle of there, and I'm going to put my burst up in that top corner. So for this one, I'm just going to put a blob of glue in a couple of places. I don't want this to be completely flat anyway, so I'm quite happy to just have, you know, a couple of blobs of glue holding that one down. So that's that up in that corner, and then obviously I'm going to put my skate there. So just a bit of hot glue. Having to work quite quickly with the hot glue tonight, because like I say, it is actually a bit cooler in the conservatory tonight, and I have got underfloor heating, but it feels a bit I don't know, a bit spoilt to put the underfloor heating on the 1st of November. So I'm going to try and make myself wait a bit longer. So that's that piece. So now I want to do a flower cluster up the side here. And for that, I'm going to use some of these lovely pine bough type bits. There's some smaller ones as well. Now, I've got a tendency to faff when it comes to doing the flower bits. And actually, sometimes it's better if you just don't, if you just go for it. And don't overthink it, because otherwise you can spend forever trying to decide where each, you know, minuscule piece of your flower cluster is going to go. And actually, once it's all down and done, I mean, you don't see each individual element particularly. You know, you see it as a cluster. You know, particularly the greenery that's in the background. So I'm just going to pop some of that down to give it a bit of a base. I have got some of these. They were snowflake decorations that I bought for card making last year. So we could pop one of those in the bottom corner there. So just put a bit of the hot glue on that, and I'm going to pop this one like that. Yep. And then do I want another one? No, I think I like just the No, I think I like that, just like that for now. I can always trim bits off and add it in separately. I'm then going to put one of these big pink poinsettias that I made in an earlier video. I made a video yesterday. Well, I made it today, but I uploaded it yesterday on my channel. And I'm going to pop that there. What else have we got? Well, I've got some pretty silver heat embossed bits here, leaves and these type of flowers. And if we trim the stem of this off a little bit and pop that there. Oh yeah, I like that. Maybe just bring it down a little bit. I'm not going to glue that one on just yet because A, I want to make sure that that is definitely what I want and I want it there, and B, I'll probably find that I can hold it down with some other flowers. So this is from the same die set. It's like the bud version of it. So pop that one in. And then I've got some of these, it's like foam curly Q things. They're from AliExpress. So again, just going to trim just a little bit off of the bottom of that. I've got a pink one as well. I wonder what if a pink one would look cute. Straighten that wire out a bit. And you can see now that between all the bits that we've stuck on top and the snowflake that I stuck in the background, you really can't see that bit on the paper anymore. I'm just going to pause the camera because we're having another big rain shower and just see if that blows over. Okay, so I did carry on a little bit there while we had the big rain shower, and I've glued a few bits, a few roses and things in place. I'm now just putting in some of the holly leaves that I've made, and as I said, when if I can get some focus, that would be cool. When I made the holly leaves video, I will often cut them in half to preserve them, so that I get, you know, maximum usage out of what I've made. So just pop some of those. I've also got some of these berries on a stem, and these are really sort of glittery. And I've cut the wires down on a few of these to see if I can pop these in to the cluster here and there. So go for one about there, I think. There we go. Fireworks, rain. Everything's determined that I'm not going to do this in peace tonight. Oh dear. Right, so get that in there. And then I think one more. Oh, it's really cute. There. Okay. So that's the topper to go on my card, and you can see the snowflakes move really freely, and there's a little bit of iridescent nail caviar in there as well, and that helps to make that really lovely sound as it's moving up and down. Okay, so now I need to attach this to the base that we made at the beginning, and I think pop a sentiment on it, and I think that will be it. So I'll pop it all back together, and then I'll come back and we'll pop the sentiment on and just have a final look at it. Okay, so that's all now together. So that stands against that bit of pom-pom trim. And I just want to add a sentiment. Now I was going to put something down here, but I've just had a little play with some of those heat embossed silver leaves and another one of the flowers that I've made. And then I have got these, which there's going to be lots of glare, but there you go. Merry Christmas and Happy Christmas. They're just little stickers that I got from... Where did I get them from? The Works. They were £1 in the Works. And I thought they might just finish it off nicely. So I've got that to go. And I think I'm probably just going to pop that in this bottom corner. About there. Like that. And then just a little bit of glue. Now I'm not going to get the hot glue on this bit because it's so fine, so I'll just put a little bit of my white glue on there and pop that on like that, and then a blob of hot glue, and that'll just hold that on while that white glue sets. Glue strings. Okay, so I think that's it. I think I'm done. Very shabby chic, very pastel, which, like I say, that's not normally my colour scheme, but I actually really like this. I'm actually, quite pleased with that. So that's my make for this week. I will put some photos at the end of the video because I know that obviously with that being an easel, it's quite hard to see it stood up, so I will pop some photos on. As I said at the very beginning of the video, this is part of a collaboration, and all of the other ladies' channels will be linked in the description box below, so please do go on over and check out anybody that you haven't already, and I will see you all again very soon, and definitely back next week for week number 2. Thanks for watching. Bye.